Joining me now is Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House and Fox News contributor. Newt, the left is so desperate at this point to save themselves from utter annihilation in November. They've decided to become the flag wavers and to claim treason on the part of anyone who has or dares to question them. Your reaction tonight?
Well, part of that isn't a big change. They've always been prepared to smother anybody who disagrees with them, to kick them out, to cancel them, to fire them, to drive them out of public life. So they've changed a little bit of the direction, but the attitude hasn't changed. Look, the problem for the left is simple. It's failing. It's failing in Ukraine. It's failing with inflation. It's failing with open borders. It's failing with levels of crime. When you go through area after area, I just talked today to a pollster about New York State, which is a state which Biden carried by a huge margin. He's now some 25 points underwater in a state he carried by a big margin. Because people wake up in the morning and they look, here, the most recent examples. The guy who stabbed two people, staff people at the Museum of Modern Art. The person who's going around as a serial killer killing people who are homeless. People look at that stuff and they say, this isn't working. Then they go to buy gasoline. That's not working. Wait till you see the impact of the price of wheat, which is actually going up faster than the price of oil. Presently, you're going to see food problems that are amazing. And people are going to say, this isn't working. And I think when you watch Biden and you watch Harris, the question is, which is the more incompetent? I mean, Harris in Poland was an utter, total embarrassment. And every American had to feel something was wrong there. And of course, Biden, I think, is totally out of touch with reality. And this has been pathetic. The result, by the way, is the Chinese are now more important. You have Syrians potentially coming into Europe as a fighting force. You have Europeans who have no respect for the current American administration. And you have Putin thinking as long as he yells nuclear war, he can get away with anything he wants to, including killing civilians, bombing maternity hospitals, attacking nuclear reactors. And you have an administration in Washington which is just totally, I think, out of touch with reality.
Back to your point on the crime in the United States, because I think what we're seeing in these polls, Newt, is as awful and tragic and horrific as Putin's war on Ukraine is, the mom and pop small businesses, the American families, are most concerned about what's happening in their schools and what's happening to their family budgets and what's happening on the streets. It's so bad in Seattle that we learned tonight that Amazon is at least temporarily relocating 1,100 or 1,800 of its employees out of Seattle because it's become such a hellhole of crime. I think this is an opportunity, do you not agree, for a Republican 50-state strategy to wipe the Democrats out in 2024, 2022, not just in the old red state blocks, but across the country, from New York to Washington State to California and beyond?
Well, look, I think Republicans should encourage candidates everywhere. I will say the Congressional Campaign Committee has done an amazing job. I think they're going to have more candidates than we had in 1994, which at the time set a record. When you look, for example, at San Francisco, where the school board members who were recalled with an over 70% vote, that was led by Asian Americans who are deeply offended that these left-wing nutcakes want to destroy the schools, which Asian Americans see as the key to their children's future. When you look at, for example, Hispanic Americans, they're patriotic, they are pro-life, they are for the work ethic, they believe in take-home pay, they are anti-crime, and they look at a Democratic Party which increasingly looks crazy. I mean, you had 89 Democrats today sign a letter to Biden from the House saying that the greatest threat is global warming. Now, we're in the middle of a war, and the greatest threat is global warming. I mean, how whacked out do you have to be?
Newt, it's great to see you as always tonight. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.